Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me today. So today we're going to get back to an equipment review. We haven't done one of these for a while, and I apologize because I've been actually honestly pretty busy for being in the middle of a pandemic. People are still choosing to do weddings and things like that, so I've been doing some of those, but for obvious reasons I'm not filming. I'm minimizing some of the stuff that I do. We're always wearing masks, things like that. So we're trying to stay safe, we're trying to stay busy, and I hope you guys are doing the same as well. So today we're going to check out a new, well, it's not new to me. I've had these for a little while. You've probably seen them in a video here and there. But I've attempted to do a review of these like 10 times, but I haven't been able to. So today we're going to take a look at our, what I believe are branded the JML-50s, which are a moving head wash that I've had for a little while now. So let's turn around, let's take a look at this thing and see what you guys think. Alright, one more little thing here quick before we get started. I don't want you guys to take this review as a you should go and buy this product. This is a I found these, I wanted to review them kind of thing. Typically I'll never suggest that you go out and you buy equipment that's not name brand, that you can't have support for, because that's exactly the case that I am at right here. I don't have any support for these. Nobody can help me out with problems and things like that with these. So just be careful. You're kind of buying these things at your own risk when you get something like this. But in my case here, I've been lucky. But understand that this is not a, hey, you should go buy this product or you shouldn't buy this product. I'm just going to kind of try to give you guys an unbiased review of what I got, and maybe it'll work for you. But understand, for the kind of price that you're going to pay for this, you're going to take some risk. That's just how this stuff goes. So real quick, before I preface anything else, I bought these off of eBay. I've had these for a little while now. I bought 4 of them. They came with a flight case as well. They were an incredibly affordable price, but these are not branded. The brand name when I bought them was JML, but if you search for JML on eBay now, you'll find a retailer that sells all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if these are actually JML. There's no brand name on them, but we'll take a look here. If you search on eBay for something like Chinese moving head wash, you'll probably find something like this. But either way, we'll still take a look at it here. And if you guys are looking for something like this, you can try to search for what these are, and hopefully you'll find something you like. So let's take a look. All right, so we'll take a quick look at this thing here. It doesn't look, too out of the ordinary, where it's a standard moving head wash. Nothing too fancy here. It just says LED beam right here on the side. So, nothing weird there. There's a couple things right off that you'll notice, at least. Let me take the camera off the tripod here and I'll show you. So a couple things that you'll notice right away. The display, there's no brand name on it. So that's one thing, which I guess that's kind of a small thing. There's a DMX light, there's a master light, which if you have this thing in, master slave mode, you'll see whether or not you have master slave, whatever. Slave lights over here, and then of course sound active light there. Typically you're going to see this thing in DMX mode. So, if you use the standalone programs, that's one thing. There's a couple C ratings here, CE. It does have a little house on it. These are not standard ratings for the US other than CE, so I don't know what these are for. I don't know what they're rated for. It is kind of what it is on that. So, yeah, like I said, these are not rated, so you probably shouldn't use these in any kind of professional installation. Again, use at your own risk. Couple blaring things right off. If you look right down through here, you can actually see circuit board inside. So, if it'll focus there. I don't like that specifically because, right off the bat I see 2 capacitors right down in there. So the actual ability for this thing to, be safe in any kind of water or anything like that is not the case, I would guess. Back at the moving head itself, there's a fan back here. It does blow pretty well. I've not had these things apart, so I don't know what's inside them and what's not. The LEDs themselves look decent. They're nice and bright. We'll show you that here in just a second. But, that's pretty much it. The motors, the stepper motors for the movement feel pretty good. They feel like a standard moving head motor. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Let's flip the unit around. We'll take a look at the back panel. Unplug my DMX here. Back panel, we have your power in. And there's also a fuse in here. I have popped one of these fuses before, but that was my own fault. There is a power out. This is a standard female IEC, or was that male? Male or female? One of the two IEC connectors. You can get cables that come from this to this. so you can link these. Another thing you can do is you can get adapters. So you can get an adapter that goes to that just goes to a regular power outlet, so you can use a standard power cord. That's what I do. I have adapters for these that go to standard, because this is a standard 120 volt outlet here. It's just that style. DMX in and out. It does have a QC sticker, but the next thing, blaring thing, that tells me this is not a name brand, a piece of equipment, is, you guys notice this switch right here? Yeah. So typically on your switches for any device, the circle is off, the slant is, or the line is on. Well, if you look at the printing on the unit, it's opposite of that. Well, so in this case right here, the switch itself is correct. Right now it's off, now it's on, but they have printed the label on the unit itself wrong. I don't know if this switch was meant to be inverted or what, but you have to completely ignore this printing, because the switch itself is correct. It is the case on all 4 of the ones that I had bought with this lot. So I don't know if there was a mistake there or what, or somebody translated something incorrectly, but yeah. Alright, let's hook DMX back up, and just a standard DMX plug over here, and then hook our DMX back up, and then we'll plug power in here. Let's have power ready. Plugged in, we'll flip the switch. Sorry, my chair is very noisy. So the unit, when it powers up, will reset, just as so. It'll go ahead and find its home position. And we're going to find this tripod here, because this camera's heavy. And there it is. It's booted up. On the display itself, it now says, if you can see, it now says DMX mode. And you'll see the DMX light flashing. That's because I have the DMX box on and hooked up to it. If I unhook that, which I'll do, you'll see the DMX light goes out, and it still says DMX mode. So let's take a look here real quick at some of the features with DMX, and then we'll look at the presets without DMX here in just a second. Okay, so now we're hooked up here. I have my QLC tablet right here beside me, so we'll fire up a couple features, or a couple things on this unit here. So the first thing we're going to do is movements. I mean, movements are pretty self-explanatory. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. Pre-programmed scenes I have here, are for certain positions and stuff like that. Nothing too fancy. I do have movement patterns in here as well for QLC. This is just an up-down pattern. There's just a straight-up pattern, straight across pattern. So one thing to note on these, they don't actually tilt down. So what you see here is the farthest down, when I mean down, I mean that way, it'll go. So it'll go obviously straight up, but it won't go any farther than that. These moving heads were meant to be inverted when placed, so they're meant to be upside down. They have feet on them obviously, and they work just fine like this, but they were pretty much meant to be inverted. So that's something to consider as well. If you can invert them, I've inverted them a lot, especially if you're working with truss or T-bars and stuff like that. So here's just a quick movement pattern I had in there from QLC. Hopefully the focus doesn't go wild here. But smooth movement, no problems there. It's pretty responsive. Let's go here real quick to a function. Alright, here's a quick function that I can do here, just to show you. These moving heads have 540 degrees of movement on the x-axis, so you can see it goes pretty far there. It's a long way. And then of course this is the low. Let me turn it sideways so you can see a little better here. This is the low position right here. It is kind of angled down a little bit, but not much. And of course it just flips back and does the exact same on the other side. So nothing too ridiculously fancy there. On the colors, these things they're pretty nice. I'm just going to flip it right at the camera here. This is probably a mistake, but we'll see here. Actually, I can do this one. There, up just like that's what it is. Colors, these are RGBW, so of course they have red. Hopefully the camera does the colors okay on this. It's white balanced auto. green, you can see green, blue, and then white, which is a very natural white. Do I have a place to point this? See, it's white, but it kind of looks blue on the camera here, but it is definitely a very natural white. See if I can rotate this guy. Let's point it kind of back there a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, it's pretty. There's your red, green, blue. I have them fading through. They will snap, obviously. They just follow the parameters you give them. Of course, color mixing is pretty good. Here's a yellow. Since they are multi-color diodes, it does pretty well. There's yellow. Here's a pink that I made. Of course, orange is pretty good. And one of the cool things you can do too with this is you can mix the white with some other stuff. So like right here's white, right here's blue. If I turn both the blue and the white diodes on, I get this really kind of ice light blue, which is really cool. I use it a lot. It's one of my favorite colors on these things. I can dim these down a little bit, maybe you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So it's kind of like an ice blue. You know, there's an orange, which is the yellow and the red diodes together. Pink, which is a combination of diodes. Yellow, which is the red and green diodes. Well, yeah, there's the white there. And it looks pretty good, honestly. I mean, these are excellent looking colors on these things. Hit the camera there with it, see if it looks okay now. There's that white. But yeah, so that's the colors and stuff. Of course, you know, fully dimmable in whatever colors you want. You know, it's full control. With the functions on these things, they have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels. They have 9 channels on them. So they you have your pan, your tilt, then you have your dimmer, then you have RGBW, then you have a shutter, then you have some other auto features on it as well. So pretty standard DMX, you know, usage, just like you would any kind of moving head. So let's take a look real quick at some of the auto functions of this moving head. Okay, so I have unplugged the DMX now. So we're going to hit the menu here, and we'll go to show mode. Then we're going to go to, let's do slow mode here. Let's take a look, see what this looks like. Alright, so as you can see, the moving head now is in one of its auto settings here. It is just kind of fading through colors slowly and just kind of slowly moving around. This is a completely auto mode. There's no DMX plugged into it right now. So yeah, it's useful. I mean, if you want to do something like that, it doesn't stop itself, but it just does that. Oh, there's a strobe. So it is kind of random. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily use this for something myself, but it is something that is useful if you needed something to just sit there automatically. Let's go back to show mode. Let's go to fast mode, and it's probably exactly what you think it is. Now it just kind of is going to whip around there fast. Everything it does is going to be, you know, quick, more upbeat. It does cover 360. It doesn't stick to, you know, one vector section or another. It is just kind of doing its thing. That's pretty fast. It moves around. It'll do this the whole time. So we'll go back here to, obviously DMX mode just resets it and ready for DMX. It does have a sound mode, which is exactly what it sounds like. So it kind of stays slow here until it hears something, and then as you beat through, you know, kind of sticks to the beat. It does actually pretty well in the realm of sound active mode for what it's worth. So I mean, there's that. I'll flip us back to DMX modes here so it'll calm down for a second. The other menu options we have are channel set for setting your DMX channels, whether or not you want it 9, or it does a 16 channel mode, which has a lot of finer controls on things. I don't typically use it because I don't need those extra channels, but it is there. Your DMX set address, this is just the address you need for your DMX. fixture reset, which will reset all the functions of the fixture, which is sometimes handy to have. Something gets out of the way. Factory default to confirm it. You can adjust what is white balance, but it says while balance, so I guess that may be some Chinese there. But yeah, you can adjust the different balance of the different channels, which is a nice thing. You can invert the tilt and the pan. Of course, your sound sensitivity level, and that's pretty much it. So there it is, the JML. I don't know what you call this thing. There's no brand names on it, but you know, this unit here. I mean, whether or not it's JML or another brand, I don't know. But there it is. That's the unit. Alright guys, there you have it. I mean, those are the moving heads. I'm not going to recommend, you know, to buy this thing one way or another. But, you know, all in all, these are decent moving heads. You know, if these were, you know, something name brand that had some of these little tiny cons, I guess you would say, taken out, then I mean, these would be awesome moving heads. Now keep that in mind, I still use these things really often. I use these things at, I would say, the majority of my weddings. I have 4 of them, and I've used them in other events as well, and I'll maybe throw a little clip up here to show where we'd use these in the past. I mean, we use these for big events, and they work great in all honesty. The one time that I blew the fuse, the power chaining on them, since you can chain power through them, I had like a whole rig kind of chained through one moving head, which was a mistake in, you know, my part, and I pulled more than, I think, 15 amps or something like that, which is what the, or maybe the fuse was less than that. It may have been a 10 amp fuse, something like that. Anyway, popped the fuse. They came, it had a replacement in the holder. It had a spare in the holder, fuse holder itself, so I just popped that in, redid my, you know, power wiring, how it was organized, and I was fine for the rest of the event. So, you know, little things like that, you know, can get you on times, but that was completely my fault. It wasn't the fault of the moving head. But yeah, honestly, it works great. It is a risk, you know, anytime you buy anything that's not name brand, that maybe is made overseas, something like that. But you know, for this kind of thing, I took a chance with these because they were really affordable. I mean, I got 4 moving heads for less than it would have cost me for 1 to 2 name brand moving heads. So, I mean, if you're the kind of DJ who can afford to take that kind of risk, you know, for me, I didn't need these things. These were not specifically for an event or something like that. So, you know, if they weren't the best and I could still use them for something, yeah, it was still a monetary risk, but it wasn't a huge monetary risk, you know what I mean? So, like, if you buy something like Chauvet, you have a warranty with that kind of stuff. So if something goes wrong or doesn't work right out of the box, hey, you know, you're covered, you're good to go, they'll send you a replacement. Well, this here, you don't really have that. I got 4 of these and a flight case, you know, all in one. It was drop shipped directly from China. Now, mind you, that's been like 4 or 5 years ago, so nothing, you know, pertinent to what's going on now. But at the same time, you know, these turned out to be decent. They've lasted. As long as you, I guess you don't drop them off of a truss, you should be okay. So that's going to be it, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking through this. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I got more videos coming up. So we'll see you guys on the next one.